and I'm going to go ahead and
That's
record
fine.
this one too. And we are off to the races.
All right, let me just switch. I gotta find that one. So, Merritt, I know, what was it? So the non-specific fire code plan. I turned it for ready for validation, and then you switched back saying it was there was no requests for this, for this code plan. The reason I am asking for validation for it is I just want to make sure it reflects what was required from like the workflow, and the fees are all there, and then the custom fields are all good. That way, if they are, then we can say validation passed, and then you can also, from that standpoint, I'm not saying it's 100%, but let's say those three categories are taken account, and so after that, more testing can be done within that non-specific fire code plan. So if you find any more issues with it, or find any more after validation fails or passes, we can put it into the system change tracker moving forward. That was the reason behind it.
Okay, I understand now. So do you want me to update this case type?
Yes, so let's say, for example, if there is a problem with it, I would say immediately go ahead and put something in the systems change tracker going, it's missing this, it's missing this, it's missing that, and then I can go ahead and make those changes, and once those are approved, I'll re-ask you again for ready for validation for it. That's how I'm going ahead with it.
All right. I will work on that one.
All right. Thank you so much, Merritt. And that's what all I was going to try to talk about. And then moving forward, yes, all things, any new items, we're not putting it in the internal test tracker anymore. We're putting it in the systems change tracker. And so I appreciate, Lisa, when she was doing it, as well as Veronica, they were adding in items in the system change tracker and going ahead with that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, the other items were mostly for Anne-Marie, just talking about the same thing with case type tracker and making sure we get the right things validated for certain processes.
I'm going to ping Anne-Marie right now. Has anybody heard hide or hair of her today?
I just sent her a message and she cannot attend the meeting.
Oh, okay. So that was the main part of the show for this meeting, right? So we reschedule?
Yeah,
it's okay. We can reschedule. It's okay.
Sorry, Jason. So
no, it's not. It's not a big deal at all.
Okay, not to consume. Was there anything else that we can cover before we cancel then, or close?
Yeah, let's go to the system change tracker. I think there were some items that were in Veronica's court, and if they aren't, I want or maybe she'd actually close things out, or at least close things out before she left as well.
I think we both had closed things out, or I think I had a question on which one was it?
Oh yes, I did. You did put a question on something. Yeah. I think I saw it earlier.
I'm trying to think what it was.
Yeah, let me go back. We can talk about that right now.
Okay.
That was a quick question on. So fire is working on getting standard conditions for TUPs to add the library, so they can select for each permit. Are we still within the time frame? Yes, we are perfectly within the time frame to add any conditioning.
Okay, cool. There you go, Merritt.
And then, so with that, within that time frame of the conditioning, within that, we can figure out what. So for conditions, they can have a category. So I'll go into the condition library right now. So within this condition library, so there's only 4 conditions in here right now. One was just the general condition. That one was just when it was built in just as a placeholder. And these other ones in here, I put as temporary sign, and then I put the category of them as temporary sign banner. And so these names can be changed as well as the description. I just did this as an example to from what I saw from the original documentation for the reports for planning. That's what I was seeing. And right. I know I talked to Lisa and Veronica about this, that you can, even within the conditions, you can change all that information in here, add descriptions, change the name of it and everything else. but just if it's easier, if the language never changes, for certain things, or at least for a year, you could just drop things in here, and then that way you would constantly just pull that from that information. So for these fire conditionings for TUPs, I don't know what the category you'd want to put for that. Would you want to put temporary or TUP fire for the category, or I mean, you can put any category you want, but that was my question, just to, I guess, let Merritt and them know that we can put a category name for each one of them, so they get so when you're searching for it to add on so if I'm going to add a condition to the permit, when I'm adding them on here, you can do it by the category name. That way you're not just, because imagine if every condition for every single department was on here with no categories, it would just be you'd be scrolling through trying to figure out the right condition. It would help eliminate that easier.
Yeah, I think TUP fire would work. What do you think, Merritt?
Yeah, that would work.
How would you need it? Need them, Jason? Would it be like an Excel spreadsheet or?
Yeah, an Excel spreadsheet's the best way. That way we can immediately run a script using I can't remember the program right now, but we run a script within Microsoft, and then it automatically duplicates it into the database. That way I'm not, writing out all that information out. And so let's say if there is, 150 conditions, instead of me writing out 150 conditions, I can spend about 15 minutes and get all the conditions added.
Okay, cool. I'm going to send you some from police too, some standard ones, so that they can just all be in there. Because I think we had mentioned that once we do e-reviews, that we won't have to be checking that scope box, right? To make it a little more streamlined. I think that's how we were hesitating and putting them in to begin with. Okay, perfect. And when do you need this by?
Before go live, I mean, it's the question is when do you want to start testing it? That's my only question for you guys.
Okay.
So the quicker you get things over, the quicker you guys can test it and approve of, going, hey, actually, maybe we want to change the names of certain things of how it appears instead of, or, what you actually want to, how you want to use it. That's the best thing for it.
So Jason, when we complete the TUP for the fire conditions, do you want me to send it directly to you or send it to Veronica and she can keep track?
You can send it directly to me, but I would just CC on
Veronica. Okay.
Yeah, that way she knows it's being sent over, and that way we can, get that added in there.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
All right. And then from that standpoint, let me just search in here. I do remember there was one other thing on the system change tracker that I have to complete for you, Veronica. I think it has to do with the.
I'm looking for it too. Where was it?
I know what it was. It was the P0 or P1 assigned users. It was the Thomas Fire ones, the reference of TF.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll make sure to add you for those two as the assigned user, and then that's it, correct?
I believe so. Yay.
Okay, because the TF thing threw me for a loop. I didn't know what that.
Yeah.
I was like, you're like Thomas Fire ones. I was like, I don't know what those are, but okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. And then I know this thing was brought up by Anne-Marie about adding in the geofencing, adding addresses into the back office. And I'll explain it to you, Merritt and Kurt and Veronica about this. And maybe you guys can agree or disagree, or we can talk about this with Anne-Marie as well. But so for the address part, so what we see here is not what the client's seeing. So like, as you were saying, as I was showing the CSS earlier, you can add an address in here and it be a fake address, but that would be the person in the back office adding the address. Anne-Marie kind of wanted that locked down so they couldn't do that. But I think that's more on the line of, I guess, teaching a person in the back office to take in a correct address. If it's not there, then, you wouldn't save the permit. Am I correct or incorrect about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, so right now, the address has to be a valid address for it to be selected.
Yes.
Unless we're adding a new one, which we don't just do that. So, I mean, I would imagine it's the same thing. But is that what she meant, that it has to be a valid address to begin with?
Yes, and that's what she was meaning by the geofencing.
Yeah.
And so I think she was thinking that the clients were going to be able to add the addresses in here. But so let's say, for example, if a person comes in there and says, I'm doing work on, 45 Hickory Lane Boulevard, and then, the person in the back office, the clerk goes, there is no such address here in Ventura for that. Like, they wouldn't go ahead with that permit, right?
Right.
Right.
So the geofencing thing, I don't think it's needed in the back office. I don't think it's needed here, since as long as the clerk understands not to, manually put in addresses. So like you can add an address, by hand and it not find anything, you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what we're trying to prevent. I think that was the main, because we had that in the previous software and it was a mess. People, I know it's more of a training, but now with the current EnerGov, it just flows easier that nobody can go in there and just create an address and create a permit.
Yeah, there's a whole process to create an address. So
yeah.
And also from the public side, they should only be able to choose from actual valid addresses as well, right?
Yes, and that can be turned on and off from that CSS point of view. So that from the CSS point of view, if a client was just putting an address in there, they would only choose from what is coming from the GIS information.
Right. Okay.
So that's easy. So you still want the ability, not the ability, so the back office to write whatever they want. So I know it is a training thing, but so you still want to make sure it's locked in here. That's where it gets a little difficult.
That's probably what she wants, just so that they're only choosing from a valid address and not making one up, because that's, like I said, that's a whole separate process in and of itself.
Right.
So I think we all agree with that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see what I can do with adding in addresses that don't have that. All right. Let me see what I can do with that.
We're always able to choose, like for planning, for instance, sometimes the lots are vacant and there are no addresses, so we could still just always select the parcel. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Select the parcel, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, if there is no address, I guess if you're doing like, I guess a grim work, yes. Like you're doing like,
can we do a parcel search from here?
Yes. So from here, you can do a parcel search. And so I forget what numbers those are. I think it's like 8888 is like the parcel, information for that, for streets and like, what is it? Not center lines. But
yeah,
the information they need for that.
Address. I think right now we use 999.
Is it 999?
Yes, 999.
So it's probably going to bring up a whole list of them. All right.
I looked up LA County just to see what types of planning things they did, and it's very few, but they do have them on here, so it's kind of cool to go through here, through their CSS.
What city is that, Veronica?
It's LA County.
LA County.
Okay. LA Epic. Remember when we went to Calabasas, Epic Live or something like that? I forget what it was called. Yeah.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of municipalities out there that have CSS. I've been trying to collect URLs of sites that I find that are nice, but it's interesting to see how they implement it differently or the same. LA County is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And especially given the fact that their counter is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that goes back to working from home, Kurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
But okay. But yeah, I think that's all the questions I have.
Okay.
I'm going to try to get all those fire permits over to you for validation by the end of this week. So probably by next week, you'll have all the permits ready for validation for fire. And then for all the planning ones, we have all the information we need to move ahead. There isn't any more issues. Am I wrong about that, Veronica? So besides, I guess, making sure you're defaulted on a couple of them.
Yeah, no, I think we're good.
Okay, so then I'll give you the ability to validate the P1 and the P0s.
Okay.
And also the ability to validate, I believe it's called the, what's it called?
The imported ones.
Yeah, the imported admins project.
Right.
There's no workflow for it. There's no custom fields for it. So, I mean, let me know what is needed from this, if there is anything more needed from it. That way we can get this validated as well.
Yeah, the current desktop, basically the only thing we really use this for is to look up old pre-EnerGov projects. So there is a listing of case types that are tied to parcel numbers. I'm hoping that's all going to import over.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Those should be all imported over. So, but for this one, if it doesn't have a certain, so what kind of case types? Do you have a case type called? Excuse me. You have a case type called imported admins project coming over?
No. Yeah. Well, we do, and those are all the old pre-EnerGov projects. So that's the plan type. It's called that. But then when we go, maybe I'll send you some screenshots so you can see how we use it now. So when, the city of Ventura has so many different ways of looking things up. I guess it's unfortunately almost because for us, we've got so many different systems. So we can look things up in ArcView, we can look things up in GIS, we can look, in something called City Maps, we can look things up in EnerGov. So I don't want to lose anything just in case, one of the others goes away, like they keep threatening that, GIS is going away one day, and then what are we going to do? So, so I'll send you some screenshots just so I can make sure that the stuff is moving over, and then go from there.
Okay, because I just want to make sure since currently this one has 0 custom fields, if that information is not coming with custom fields, it should. I don't know what kind of information would be coming over with it, but we can figure out the best way to move it over.
Okay. Well. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And then once you send those screenshots, I'll send over things and say, all right, we're good to go, or I need to add certain things, and then we can get this thing validated. That way we can get it off the case type tracker as well.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you so much.
Jason,
thank you, Merritt.
Jason, are you available at well, that'd be 5 o'clock. That'd be 2 p.m. That's too late for you. That's 5 p.m. to meet with Anne Marie? Or
I can meet with her, that's fine.
Okay, she hasn't responded, but she's got an opening. Do you think half an hour?
For today, Kurt, Anna went home sick, so I don't think she'll be available.
No, okay. She went home sick. I'm sorry, I missed that piece. Okay, how about?
No, she just let me know now. Sorry that she went home sick.
All right, thank you. How about Thursday at 10, 11, 12 at 1 p.m. your time, Jason? Thursday, the 7th.
I have a meeting from that time period from what time is that? So it's 10. I have a meeting from 10 to 11 on
How about
Thursday.
8:30 to 9, just a half hour on Thursday the 7th? Yeah, the 8:30, 10:30.
I'm definitely available during that. If we want to do that, I just want to make sure Anne Marie can make it, since as Mara was saying, she went home sick. I don't want her,
I'm gonna book it, and I'll send her a message and let her know. Hopefully she'll be feeling better. If not, then we'll change it again.
Okay, that's fine. And like I said, if we want to move it to, I guess, Monday as well, later in the day, we can do that as well.
Thank you for being accommodating. That's great. I'll let her know if she's still feeling sick. We'll move it.
And we can do meetings, I guess, from your time, from like 2 to this would be 2 to 4 o'clock. We can definitely do that. I am accommodating to do that, so it'd be like 5 to 7 my time. But it's I just need to know ahead of time. It's not like like the same day kind of thing.
Thank you, Jason. That's very accommodating. We'll try to avoid having you work in the evening, but that's nice to know if we need to. Thank you.
No, it's okay. It just means I just start working later the next day. That's all it is.
All right. That's the more flexible schedule.
Yeah, I'm not going to the office anymore, so I'll work from home.
That's
it means
right.
I'll wake up, I'll roll out of bed at 8 o'clock and go for a run and work out or something like that.
It's
for
so
the time
funny.
being.
The conversation is just before you joined us for that first meeting. It was the same conversation about how we seem to be working more now than before because we fit work in wherever we can.
No, I mean, I guess this morning I rolled out of bed is at 7:30, made breakfast, then started working at 8 a.m. So
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
life.
normally I don't usually get to the office until right around 9 o'clock, 8:30 in that time range.
Wow.
It,
Well,
it seems like my lunches are getting shorter too when I'm working from home.
yes,
That
me
is
too.
true.
I'm trying to synchronize with my wife. At least if I'm eating with my wife, she eats slower. Then I can have a little longer lunch.
Uh, I've been quarantined by myself for this whole entire time, so.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. Gee, well when we're all done, we have to make sure that you come for our training in Ventura, and we'll all take you down to the beach for a swim.
Listen, you can take me to the swim, but as long as I can rent a surfboard, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it, Jason. We'll do it.
All right.
Everybody, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you,
All right.
Veronica. Thank you, Merritt. Thank you, Kurt.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right.
Thank you,
You too.
Jeremy.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.